we haven't really seen a flurry of Indian companies, Indian software product companies that are household names in the US. I'm talking about whether you think of SAP or you think of Snap or you think of, other than service providers, TCS and Infosys and so on, but there isn't a product that I can identify other than one company out of Chennai, Zoho. So they are a remarkable exception. So what will it take? At the next IIT alumni conference, do you think we would have, 3 companies that would be household names that produce software or digital products?
Yeah, I think, Gunjan, these are one of those holy grail questions. And I'm pretty sure everyone in this audience will have a view on it. So, and all of those views are correct because it's a very complex issue. But let me step back a little bit and look at what's happening, not just in India, but globally. How many products came out from the rest of the world outside of the Silicon Valley, outside of US? If you look at Europe, again, about a $20 trillion economy, how many new products came out? It was Spotify and then Skype and what else you remember?
SAP.
Yeah. So SAP was 30, 40 years back. I'm talking about the last 20, 30 years. You've got China, which started coming out with products about 10 years back. And the companies which were formed in around 2000 started kicking off around 2007, 2008, like the Baidus and the Tencents and so on and so forth. And if you look at India, we are at, from an economic perspective, at the same level that China was in 2007, 2008. We have got roughly the same GDP now. So that's the trigger point where things will start happening. But that's just one factor. The economy is just one factor because look at Europe. It's much bigger and it's still not producing too many products. One of the key issues is the ecosystem, right? And what does the ecosystem mean? That if you don't have the right set of players and stakeholders, you can't just create a product out of the blue, which fits for the world's requirement. So let me take a real example of what happened in about 1813, 1814. There were 2 legislations that were passed in the British Parliament, and it's all there online for the British parliamentary records, where they passed a legislation saying that Indian ships which are below 350 tons will not be allowed to ply between Britain and India. And you can't have British flag on them, and if they carry goods, they'll be taxed extra. And why 350 tons? Because the British couldn't produce the larger 1,000-ton ships, which India was good at. And basically, the shipwrights went to the king and said, look, they got a better, I can call it the TCO in today's language, a total cost of ownership. They're bigger, stronger, lower maintenance. So when your Royal Navy needs us, we won't be around because we'll be dead by then. So please do something. And then next year, they passed another law which stopped all Indian ships from operating in the transatlantic route, which was very lucrative in those days because they would pick up slaves from West Africa, dump them in US, pick up gold from US, dump it in UK, and then go back. So the ships were stopped, and therefore, both Surat and Bengal stopped producing all the ships. So when the iron ships came in, India was not there in the scene. So then for the next 100 years, there was no ecosystem. So you can't have the next set of innovation happening in void.
Well, let me interrupt you. When do you think it will happen? When will we see?
So when, same as what China did in that sense, the government intervention was needed, right? Let me take one more point around it because it's not a single dimension issue. The issue is also about capital, right? Look at OpenAI, $13 billion pumped in at the right time with the right set of people.
I've got to push back at that. Software doesn't need a lot of capital. Needs a laptop and $1 million, and you can get there. But I appreciate your input. Let's move on to our friend Ashoka.